I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would know already that the title of tonight's show is a very positive one, and it's just one word, and that one word is strength. And that is because we end the year and we start the new one in a position of strength, or we can be feeling stronger. And that is because the planets are also strong right now. They're very positive. And that is because there are 3 planets that are all at home in the sign they rule. That's pretty powerful. And there is a 4th planet that is in its sign of exaltation right now. And so there's sort of something for everybody as we end the year and as we look forward to 2018. And that is because we really are entering a new era. And it is a time, since Saturn is now in Capricorn and it's the ruler of the sign, it has changed signs. And what it means is that we are entering a period of time when we are all going to have to work hard and make sacrifices for the long-term security of either ourselves or our loved ones. And so when I say make sacrifices, what I mean is that this is a period of time, since Saturn is joining Pluto in Capricorn, which is a very powerful planet, that you may want to, for instance, save more money in order to have a down payment on a new home in a better neighborhood. That would give you some sort of long-term reward. And so that's what Saturn and Capricorn rule. They rule doing your duty and persevering and allowing for delays and not skipping steps, but going through a time when you are very consistent and looking for stability. And so if you were, say, saving money for a child's college education, this would be a good time to contemplate that, because in the end, it would give you and your family more strength, and it would give you long-lasting rewards for the rest of your lives. And so all of that is possible right now, not just because Saturn is in Capricorn, but because there are so many strong planets right now. The first one is Mars, which is at home in the sign it rules, Scorpio, and Jupiter for a whole year is going to be in Scorpio as well. That's wonderful. And those 2 planets are trined by Neptune in Pisces. Scorpio rules, above all, justice and survival, but it is a fixed financial sign, and it rules financing and credit and debt and loans and taxes. And it also rules money coming in from any other source, such as insurance proceeds or inheritance or grants, or even money coming in from your family or your friends or your employer. And it rules the military and the police and the whole medical field, and it is a healing water sign. The next planet that is very strong right now, because it's at home in the sign it rules, is that Saturn in Capricorn. And Capricorn is loaded right now. There are 4 planets in Capricorn, and that involves Saturn and Venus, which has changed into Capricorn, and the Sun. All 3 of those planets are conjuncting, so they're powerful. And they are all joining Pluto, which is already in Capricorn. And so Capricorn is the traditional ruler of the 10th house of your career and of your public reputation. And those things will be emphasized, particularly now because there are so many wonderful planets in Capricorn. But Capricorn also rules large government agencies and large corporations, and it rules bureaucracy. And it rules administrative work. And so it really can bring out the tendencies by a Capricorn to make sure that every single step is not skipped and is done correctly in a slow and steady and painstaking way. Because Capricorn is a very sturdy earth sign. and it is ruled by the planet of time, Saturn, and that's why Capricorn also rules retirement funds and pension funds and any kind of reward that is earned the hard way over a long period of time. The third planet that is so strong right now is Neptune in Pisces, because it's the ruler of the sign, and it is being fortified or trined by Mars and by Jupiter in Scorpio. Pisces rules dreams, and it rules things that are hidden behind the scenes. So it rules phonies and imposters and cover-ups. But it also rules, since it's a double-bodied sign, it also rules charity and forgiveness. And it particularly rules dance, since Pisces rules the feet, and it rules photography, since it also rules illusion and deception. And Pisces rules the oil and gas business, and it also rules photography. So all of those things are really strong right now because the planets are so strong. And so that is something wonderful for all of us to look forward to. The fourth planet that is so strong is the moon today. And that is because the moon is exalted in Taurus, where it is located. And the moon in Taurus is trying by Saturn in Capricorn and Venus and the Sun and Pluto. And so there are 5 planets in the sturdy earth signs. And that simply means that as we enter a new era, it is going to be involved with practical reality and sacrifice. But the sacrifice comes, I hope, because we all want a better life, either for ourselves or for our loved ones or for our country. And that can involve sacrifice. It can involve having to do whatever you have to in order to succeed. And that means allowing for delays. And that means trying something again over and over until you really get it right. And it means working very, very hard. And it means that, you know, a time for dreaming is great, but you have to be able to afford it. And that is why all of us can be very involved with our jobs and our careers and our health and our long-term security as we go forward in the new year. And so we all have quite a bit to look forward to right now. So this is a time when there are so many strong planets that we can be feeling stronger as well. And so this is a very good time, even as you're facing the new year, to understand that we are entering a period of time that emphasizes stability and dependability. And so you may have to account for your actions as we go forward, and you may have to be responsible to somebody higher up who can be reviewing your performance in one way or another, and you would have to do things their way, because there are going to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions. In other words, big companies are going to get even bigger, and even government can get bigger. But that can be for the long-term security of all of us. So that's why we have a lot of strength sort of going for us as we end this year and begin a new one. All right, what does that mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, it's going to be a different year in 2018, and that is because there will be an emphasis on strength through hard work and perseverance. And so that means that if you sort of want to go do your own thing, you might be able to do that for the first 5 months while Uranus is still in your sun sign. And today, Uranus, even though it's still retrograde in your sign, it is trining Mercury in Sagittarius, which is now direct. But, you know, there isn't going to be a lot of swift movement. In fact, people are going to be more trusting of others who have a lot of experience and who are willing to work hard and make sacrifices in order to get ahead. And that will be the expectation that is placed on you, Aries. And so with the buildup of planets in Capricorn all squaring your sun sign and the other cardinal signs, Cancer and Libra, you are really going to have to sort of toe the line and do things other people's way. And it will be people who may not be as imaginative and energetic as you are, but they do have a lot of experience and they know what they're looking for. And I think that you will have to conform a little bit. But you can you can do that. If you don't want to do it, you can rebel. But Uranus is leaving your sign on May 15th. And so, you know, you're not going to have that to fall. You're not going to be as free as you think you will be. You'll have to conform. And so I hope you get used to that. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, today the moon is exalted in your sign, which means it's even stronger than the sign it rules, Cancer. So you might have your eye on a high-priced investment, and it could be in real estate. You may be rather pleased with the way your investments have gone up in value. You might be thinking of selling something, or you might have your eye on something pretty pricey, and you probably will have to work harder or save more money in order to be able to afford it. But that is looking pretty good. Your career is particularly going to look good this coming year. And even now, with 4 planets in Capricorn trining the exalted moon in your sign, and those 5 planets are trining the sign of Virgo, this is a time when hard work and practical reality and some sacrifice could take you a long way, Taurus. So I think you've got a lot going for you right now. And I think that even if it involves an extra burden or having to be more consistent and work harder over a longer time frame, it's going to reward you, Taurus. I mean, you can't argue with that. So I hope that you are patient and that you go forward now and rededicate yourself to doing well and doing your very best, because you could make great strides in your career in the next 3 years, and that could pay off for the rest of your life, Taurus. So I wish you luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, there aren't any planets in the air signs right now. And so those are the signs that don't have a lot of strength at the moment. But there are still plenty of other signs that are very, very strong, and planets that are strong, and they can benefit you. One of the best things that can benefit you is that even though Mercury, your own ruler, is still in Sagittarius and it is direct and opposing your sun sign, it's on its way out. It's going to leave Sagittarius, and a whole lot of other planets have already left Gemini. So there isn't as much opposing your sun sign as there has been. Particularly Saturn has been opposing your sun sign for years, and that is gone. So some obstacles that had been in your path for quite a while, causing you a lot of grief, Gemini, are coming to an end or have already ended. And that simply means that you are going to have a clearer shot at things that can be a little bit easier for you to accomplish in the new year. And since the moon is exalted in Taurus, and that is right behind your sun sign, Gemini, you might have your eye on something pretty pricey behind the scenes that you may be able to afford. It could involve an expensive piece of real estate or an expensive investment that you're going to make that may be of very high quality. And whether you can afford it or not, I'm not so sure right now, but you can be willing to work hard and save for it. And I think that you will be able to afford it in the future. I think you're just at the stages of looking around for something you want right now. And I think there's a lot of selection out there, so I would do that and just stay real quiet right now about what you want in the future, Gemini. But if you're willing to work hard, I think you can get it. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, it's wonderful that Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio are trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces, because that means that there can be more money coming your way or increased credit. That could be good as well. And there is also the possibility that that you are going to be able to make some sort of a change in one way or another, or discover the truth about something behind the scenes, and that will really help you out in the future. But you're going to have to be on your guard until 2020 and do things other people's way as well. And that means conform. And that is because yours is a cardinal sign. And there are 4 planets in Capricorn now. And 2 of them they're all opposing your sun sign, Cancer, and 2 of them will continue to do that until 2020 or beyond. And that is because Saturn will be in Capricorn opposing your sun, which means that, you know, there are going to be other people making rather harsh demands on you. And that is going to go on for a while. And you're going to have to decide if you're up for it, or you want that to continue, or you are going to be somewhat restricted by additional government or corporate policies that are not necessarily in your favor, but there isn't anything you can do about them either. So in addition to that, Uranus in Aries is going to be squaring your sun, but not for much longer, only until May. So I think that you are going to face some changes as the year begins. But right now there's a lot of strength going on. It may not all be in your favor though, Cancer, and you are going to sort of have to play it somebody else's way or follow their lead. And if you don't like that, then perhaps you can sort of fade into the background or make some sort of change that you can afford. So you will have some options and some hard decisions to make in the next 2 or 3 years. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I think that you are going to be having to be much more realistic and practical. After all, the exalted moon in Taurus is squaring your sun, and Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio are also squaring your sun. You're really going to have to face up to some financial challenges, Leo. And even if you say you don't have any now, they could be headed your way, and that could come in the form of higher costs, higher expenses. And these are things that you may not be in control of at all, but they'll affect you. And so you're really going to have to either decide to work a whole lot harder or pare down your expensive taste to something you can afford more realistically. And so you'll have to sort of decide and make choices based much more on affordability than on anything else, Leo. And that is because there are 2 eclipses that are coming up in your sign in the next year, and there are also 2 eclipses in Aquarius that will oppose your sign. So there are changes that are coming up for you, and that's why you need to sort of face your financial situation now and be a lot more practical about it if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, I think you're sitting pretty as the year ends and the new one starts, and that's because the exalted moon in Taurus is trining your sun, and all 4 planets in Capricorn, Saturn, Venus, the Sun, and Pluto are also trining your sun sign. You just couldn't have it much better than that, Virgo. And that's because Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio are also sextiling your sun sign. And so that's 7 planets that are in your favor. The one you really have to worry about is that Neptune in Pisces, which is very strong right now because it rules that sign, is opposing your sun sign, and that means you really don't quite know if you can trust everybody, and so you should keep your guard up and test people before you believe what they tell you. And also in reading any contract, you should read it very carefully and then maybe even get a second opinion, and that would include any health matter that you are facing in the next few years. Actually, you should always get a second opinion on those as well, Virgo. And so this is a time when you can certainly benefit from hard work and experience, and you can be very pleased with the increase in the value of your investments. They can all be looking pretty good right now. And your career can be looking very good. In fact, it could be taking off, but in a slow and steady way. And so that would be all right with you, Virgo, because Saturn and Pluto are going to stay in Capricorn and trine your sun. And that means somebody very high up and powerful is really going to be in your corner. And that can be not only till 2020, but for a very long time to come. And that will enhance your long-term security for a long time. And so the worst is past, I'm happy to say, Virgo, and you have a lot to look forward to. And so good luck. All right, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, yours is a cardinal sign. And so with 4 planets in Capricorn, Saturn, Venus, the Sun, and Pluto all squaring your sun sign, and with no planets in any of the air signs, you too, just like Aries, are going to have to conform to the way other people want things done. And that may not be following a good judgment on their part, but that doesn't matter. You'll just have to adhere to whatever they say. In other words, you could have creative suggestions that they're not interested in. Okay, well, that doesn't mean give up on your creativity, but that does mean you'll still have to conform to either policies in large corporations or rules and regulations that have to do with government agencies. And even if you think they don't make any sense at all, you won't be able to get around it, Libra, particularly in the next 2 or 3 years. And the whole time that Saturn is squaring your sun sign, because Saturn is so strong in the sign it rules. In particular, between mid-March and mid-April, and then at the end of July and going into August, you will be severely challenged. And so this is a time when you really need to be careful about each step that you plan to take. And for one thing, you're going to have to allow for delays, because they'll be coming up until 2020, the whole time Saturn is in Capricorn. So you'll just have to be really practical and allow for some sacrifices, because I think you're going to have to make some, but you could have a good reason for that and they could pay off in the end. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Mars and Jupiter are still in your sun sign. That could certainly energize you a lot. But at the same time, with Neptune in Pisces trining them, it means that although justice and survival can be emphasized right now, there's also the possibility that you could learn a lot of secrets about things that are hidden behind the scenes right now, and that may enable you to administer a little justice. The 4 planets in Capricorn sextile your sun, indicating that there can be increased responsibilities coming up for you, and you should take a look at those, because even if they involve, you know, working hard and persevering and allowing for delays and not skipping any steps, they could be a career ladder for you as well. I mean, you could take it one step at a time and end up pretty well by 2020, Scorpio. So I hope that you are willing to maybe go a little slower and sort of get in the groove with a large corporation or a government agency that could help you out for a very long time to come and could enhance your long-term security. And, you know, that's something practical that you need to look at, because, you know, we don't stay young forever, Scorpio. And so with the moon in Taurus today opposing your sun sign, there can be something that you've really got your eye on that's sort of high-priced, but you may not really be able to afford it. And so this is a time when you shouldn't be taking any gambles, particularly not financially, Scorpio. Just take it real slow and easy, because that is how you can earn long-term rewards. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you really don't have quite as much going on as we end the year, and you can be contemplating serious choices in the new year. And that is because a lot of planets have left your sign, Sagittarius, and there aren't so many in the fire signs. And that is because there's only Mercury in your sign right now, and it is direct, and it is trining Uranus, which is still retrograde in Aries. So some new beginning may still not quite have gotten off the ground, but actually you can be making decisions now that are based on practical reality. Or let me put it another way, you can be deciding to just pay as you go and take smaller steps and do only what you can afford, maybe save your money so that you can afford something else. You know, that's a really good way to go, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that if you go back to the basics and you try something again and you just do a little bit at a time, in 2 or 3 years, you're going to be surprised at how far you've traveled. And in fact, you could really enhance your career and your public reputation and get a lot of experience. Now, whether it's in education, in other words, increasing your education so you qualify for a better job, you could do that. Or it can simply be that even if you're starting at a low place in a corporation or in a job, you could rise slowly but surely and be very happy with where you end up by 2020. And that's because both Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn right ahead of your sun sign. So there's going to be a stabilizing in your life for the next 2 or 3 years. And that is really going to benefit you for the rest of your life, Sagittarius, believe it or not. And that means that taking the slow road and not skipping steps is going to take you much farther than zooming ahead right now. So be patient. Okay, what does it mean? Did I just do Sagittarius?
Capricorn is next.
Oh, what does it mean to a Capricorn? I'm sorry about that. Capricorn, the planets in your sign are going to enable you to become much stronger between now and 2020. It isn't just because there are 4 planets there today and they're all trining the exalted moon in Taurus. It is because Saturn is there and will remain, it rules your sign and will remain there until 2020, and it is joining Pluto. And Mercury, or the Sun and Venus are there as well today, but they'll move on. Pluto and Saturn are going to stay there. And that means that if you wanted to start your own business, you'd want to do it slowly and methodically and correctly. But boy, that could really succeed by 2020. And you could be powerful because of that. Or if you wanted to increase your public reputation by doing some sort of work, it could be work for others, or it could be some sort of new career path that you want to take. You could be successful in that as well. So you are coming into a period of strength. Your sign is strong now, but you yourself are coming into a period of much greater strength, Capricorn. It's just not going to happen overnight, but you don't mind that. You know Saturn is your ruler, and it's the planet of time, and you're used to delays that happen, but you're also used to persevering and being very thorough. We have to remember that Capricorn rules Great Britain, and it also rules the state of Texas. And no matter what you come up against in the next 2.5 to 3 years, Capricorn, nothing is going to defeat you. Just remember that. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, there aren't any planets in the air signs, but there's a load of planets right behind your sign, Aquarius, and that means there's a lot of strength in the background of your life, and it seems to be coming in a sort of a slow way that can be very enduring, and so I wouldn't discount that. So even if in the background of your life you're just making a small success right now, it's going to build, and by 2020 you should be in a much better spot, Aquarius, because of the background work that you're going to be involved with. You may be setting something up, and it might take a couple years to do that, and you need to do it right. Well, you will, and so that'll be all right. There's also the possibility with Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn behind your sun sign until 2020 that you are going to want to slow down a little bit, or you may have a reason to slow down a little bit. And that's okay. It might be that you have to study something a little more. It might be that you are being much more careful about things. And that is because your ruler, Uranus, is going to change signs. It stays in a sign for 7 years, but it's going to leave Aries on May 15th and go into Taurus. And then it will be squaring your sun sign. So it's wise of you to be very, very careful and a little better prepared for things behind the scenes than people think, Aquarius. But actually, you know, you will be coming into a period of greater strength, and that'll be because of what's happening in the background of your life, which will be good. In the meantime, the moon in Taurus is squaring your sun today, and Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio are squaring your sun, and those are the 2 financial signs. So it might be that you have to be a little bit more careful about finances, and that may be what you have to work on slowly but surely for the next few years. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is an excellent time for you to be thinking about justice and survival, and to be very upfront and honest about your plans as you go forward. And the reason why is that Neptune is so strong in your sign. Hey, so why not put all of your talents to good use, Pisces, particularly in this next year, while Jupiter in Scorpio is going to be trining your sun sign until November of 2018. And so that is wonderful. This means that there can be more money coming to you, or you will have more opportunities to make money, and there won't be as many obstacles in your path. There aren't going to be as many planets in Sagittarius. For one thing, Saturn is no longer in Sagittarius, and it was squaring your sun for the last 2.5 to 3 years, and that certainly did put obstacles and delays in your path, Pisces, and that planet is now sextiling your sun. It is in Capricorn with 3 other planets, and they're all sextiling your sun, lending your sign a lot more strength. And that is in addition to Mars and Pluto trining your sun sign. So if you were going to turn over a new leaf, Pisces, even if you went back to the basics and tried them again and simplified your life so that you could build a good base of support, then you could build on that and make great strides, particularly in 2018. And so this is the time for you to be at your best and rededicate yourself to going forward. And when you need some extra support or help, it will be there, Pisces. And so that is something that you can count on, particularly people who are more experienced than you. They'll be there to help you. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org, and you can subscribe there. So I wish you a Happy New Year. Bye.